that report. We appreciate it.
Sure. Thanks.
Well, the chairman of the new Black Panther Party speaking out to Fox News. Take a look at this videotape. A member of the Panther Party brandishing a nightstick outside a Philadelphia polling place during the 2008 election, which President Obama won. That case, which was actually already won by the DOJ, later dropped by the Obama administration. It's a move that an ex-Justice Department official alleges was for purely racial reasons. In an exclusive interview with America Live anchor Megyn Kelly, new Black Panther Party chairman Malik Zulu Jabaz defends his organization.
Do you agree that white people should be killed and their babies should be killed?
That is not the position of our organization. That is not the position of myself. We have an official platform.
But you say that's not the position. I'm just asking you as a human being. Sir. That is a disgusting comment he made. And do you agree with it or don't you?
No, I do not agree that he should have said that. No, I do not.
No, I'm not asking about whether he should have said it. I'm asking about whether you agree with the sentiment.
No, ma'am, I don't.
Now, just to be clear, they were talking about the guy with the nightstick who went on a rant in another location saying that, you know, kill all crackers, kill their babies, meaning white people and their babies. Joining us now, these two gentlemen for a fair and balanced debate. Ron Bonjean, former communications director for former Speaker Dennis Hastert and former senior advisor to the former Senate Majority Leader Trent Lott. And Robert Hoops joins us, a former advisor to then Senator Joe Biden and to Senator Chris Dodd. Gentlemen, good to see you both.
Thanks.
Robert, let me start with you. The Department of Justice dropped this case after they'd already won it, quite honestly, because it said, and I quote, the charges are unsupported by the facts and the law, which seems absurd on its face, because when you look at the videotape, you clearly see a guy with a nightstick. And several witnesses testified, and we have them on tape, who said that these guys that were standing there were trying to stop people from voting. And the former civil rights leader and campaign manager for Bobby Kennedy was there as a poll watcher. He said this was the worst case of voter intimidation I have ever seen in my life. How can the Department of Justice justify the reduction of charges for the guy with the nightstick and dismissal of all other charges against the other defendants?
Yeah, I think, you know, we've heard and some very incendiary rhetoric from former Bush members of the Department of Justice, and I think it's worth sort of pausing and reflecting on some more timely comments from people who are admittedly much more involved with this specific case. The incident involved only 2 Panthers at a single majority black precinct. After months of hearings, testimony, and investigation, no one has produced any actual evidence that any voters were too scared to vote.
We have it on
too
tape.
Much overheated rhetoric.
Robert, wait a minute.
Too much
Everybody's
overheated
seen
rhetoric
the tape
filled with insinuation and unsubstantiated charges
are
has been
standing there saying,
wait a minute.
Geez, I was intimidated. I didn't vote.
I'm sorry. You asked me to come on. Those words are not mine. Those belong to Abigail Thurston, the Republican member of the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights.
Yeah,
so, look, the common sense standard on this, totally inappropriate, totally bad behavior, should not do it.
Yeah.
The legal standard on this, was it vote? You know, lawyers can disagree. These lawyers, this Republican member, they agree with the Justice Department.
Before I get to Ron, but
now,
Robert, wait a minute. Don't filibuster here. Let me just ask you a question.
I'm not.
You have clearly seen, I'm sure you've seen, everybody's seen, the various witnesses standing in front of a camera, one of them on that day saying, these guys were trying to stop me from voting. We called the police because they were doing that. How can you quote somebody from the DOJ credibly and say there's no evidence of voter intimidation? Come on, Robert.
Wait a minute. I'm quoting a Republican member of the Commission on Civil Rights, not just somebody from the DOJ.
I don't care.
Who has gone through the investigations.
Who are you going to believe, them or your own eyes?
Well, you know, like I say, look, is the legal threshold there? I don't know. Is the operative, you know, is it a reasonable thing for people to be standing out in front of there with sticks?
Ron?
No. Look, the other thing is you got people taking guns to speeches by the president. You've got intimidation. What has become of the far right and the far left is unacceptable in any political discourse.
Ron, do you think by dropping a case that was already won the Department of Justice is creating the impression, at the very least, that they don't care about cases in which the victims are white and the defendants are black.
Well, this is a huge public relations problem, not only a legal problem, but a communications problem for the White House and the Justice Department, because by dropping the case, they're sending a signal to other people that it might be okay for others to show up at polling locations. I mean, the guy clearly had a baton. The Black Panther Party is known as a militant organization. This was clearly wrong. You know, this is wiping out the credibility of the Justice Department if they choose to ignore it. You know, the career attorney, he resigned over the affair. He said, I'm out of here, because the political guys came in and said, sorry, we're going to put this aside. We don't want to deal with it. And, you know, White House Press Secretary Robert Gibbs said they weren't going to look into it. I'll tell you, this is a growing problem for them. And frankly, it shows a trend of the politicization of the Justice Department. You know, they're suing the state of Arizona over the immigration issue because it's politics this summer, and now they're dismissing this case. It doesn't really make a lot of sense, and frankly, I think it alarms a lot of Americans who believe that they have a right to vote and the right not to be intimidated.
I do have a copy, it's right here, of the Department of Justice internal memo, one of them, in which a lawyer writes the following. Let's put it up on the screen. Nowhere do I see that we can show that either the party or Malik Zulu Shabazz suggested, counseled, or endorsed the bringing or brandishing of weapons in advance of what happened in Philadelphia. Robert, that's not true, because Shabazz went on national television immediately after the election and defended the actions, thus an endorsement right there. Look, at the very least...
Well, after the fact. At the very least,
if you endorse after the fact, isn't that pretty strong evidence that you were encouraging and endorsing before the fact?
Look, the Justice Department, filled with career attorneys, Bush appointees, Clinton appointees, and Obama appointees, looked at this. This is the decision that they've made. You've got one memo and one look at a video. I'm not saying it's right or it should be allowed. I'm just saying, did it rise to the legal standard? And according to the Republican member of the U.S. Civil Commission on Civil Rights, it did not.
Yeah, that's one person's opinion. Ron, you get the last word.
Yeah, but according to the career attorney who was overseeing the investigation, he resigned over it.
Attorney. He was a Bush appointee.
It was amazing. It was amazing to me to see the Justice Department walk away from this case. I mean, this sends a message, and the White House needs to be very careful as we enter the election cycle now. We're a few months away. They need to send a clear and definitive message that this is not acceptable, and they haven't done that yet.
Well, Chris Coates is, sort of a legend in the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice, and a career guy. Apparently was so disgusted with this whole thing, he literally threw this, I think it was this memo, in the face of the person who made the decision to dismiss the charges. We'll wait and see whether Congress decides to take action. And, hey, real quickly, Robert, shouldn't the White House say something about this at the very least? Eric Holder, the Attorney General, shouldn't he comment on this?
I think it'd be good for the Attorney General to talk about this.
Yeah. All right. Thanks very much. Robert Hoops, Ron Bonjean, good to see you both.
Thanks a lot.
This programming note, tomorrow night, Sunday, Geraldo Rivera will interview Malik Zulu Shabazz on At Large. That's at 10 o'clock Eastern Time tomorrow, right here on the Fox News Channel.
That ought to be interesting. Just as interesting as that interview was. A little feisty there.
Yeah.
All righty, new developments in the disappearance of that little Oregon boy. Local media reports out of Portland saying police are tracing the timeline of Kyron Horman's stepmom, Terry Horman, using video surveillance from stores the day the boy vanished. Terry has told police she had gone to a school science fair with Kyron on June 4th and last saw him walking toward his class. But the boy never made it to his second grade class, and he has not been seen since.